Okay, now we will come to that question: why metals are better in heat conduction than non-metals, right? Why metals are better at heat conduction than non-metals? If you want to find the answer to that question, we need to understand how the conduction happens. If you take metals, in metals there are atoms which are vibrating. We call them lattice vibrations. At the same time, there are electrons which are free to move, and we call them free electrons. Now, if one section of a metal is heated, then you know that with the increase of temperature, the kinetic energy of them increases. So when the kinetic energy of them increases, the electrons, the free electrons in this region, starts moving faster, and when they start moving into the colder regions, these free electrons which have high energy give that energy to the atoms in the cold region. That's how the heat energy from the hot region gets transferred to the cold region by free electrons. That's the main method. The major part of heat transfer is done by them. At the same time, there is also the possibility of heat transfer by lattice vibration. That is, the atoms which are vibrating, and obviously the atoms in the hot region will be vibrating more because they have more kinetic energy, so they will bump into the neighboring atoms, and likewise the kinetic energy will be transferred by the bumping of the vibrating atoms with the neighboring atoms, and it will be transferred to the cold region. Okay, so there are two ways in which heat energy can be transferred by conduction. Heat energy can be transferred by conduction. Heat energy can be transferred by conduction. One is using free electrons, the other is by lattice vibration, that is the vibration of atoms. Now, if you take metals and non-metals, free electrons are available only in metals. If you consider non-metals, there are no free electrons in non-metals. So in non-metals, the only possibility of heat transfer is through lattice vibration, and it is a very time-consuming process, because the atom has to hit the next one, and the other one has to hit the next one. So there's too much communication needed. So that's going to take a while. But free electrons one is very fast, but that is not available in non-metals. Okay. So that is the reason why metals are better in heat conduction compared to non-metals, though both are solids. Now, having this idea, now you can understand why liquids and gases are less capable in heat conduction, because obviously the intermolecular spaces are very high compared to solid. Hence, it's going to take a lot more time for the vibrations to be passed upon. Okay.